Elon Musk gave The Economist 85 minutes, and the clips going viral are the shouting match about Europe. Ignore those. Because buried in the AI half of this interview, the man building a rival model admitted that Anthropic is currently the leader in AI, that Claude's Fable is, his words, clearly the smartest model, and that AI writing software is about to reach a level where there is, quote, just no way to compete. He put a date on AI passing all of human intelligence combined, and he named a bottleneck that almost nobody prices in. We cut the 7 moments that matter for anyone who builds and fact checked every big claim. Most hold up, one does not. Moment 1 is a date. Quick context. This is Musk at Tesla's Texas factory with Zanny Minton Beddoes, the Economist's editor in chief. The full length version just went up this week, and it's linked below. About a third of it is politics. We're skipping all of that. This is the AI cut. His words, credited on screen, with our fact checks in between. Moment 1. She opens by asking what the world looks like in 10 years if he succeeds. His answer comes with a number most people will miss.
It's hard to imagine the future where there's not an overwhelming amount of artificial intelligence. Meaning, like in 10 years, I would expect artificial intelligence to be far greater than the sum of human intelligence. Like far greater. In fact, I think AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
In 5 years?
Roughly 5 years is my guess. So there really won't be anything that AI can't do better than humans, apart from being human.
Hold on to the phrasing. 5 years. Not until AI beats the smartest human. Until it exceeds the sum of human intelligence. All of us combined. Discount his timelines if you like. He is famously early on his own deadlines. But notice what's gone from his vocabulary. If. Every disagreement left in this interview is about when and who steers it. Which matters. Because 10 years ago, the same man was begging everyone to slow down. Moment 2. Zanny came prepared. 3 quotes from Musk's own past, each more worried than the last. The pet Labrador line, the pause letter he signed, and his own extinction odds. Watch him face all 3 and listen to where he lands now.
But I'm really struck listening to you say this now, because I've been listening to a bunch of things that you've said over the years.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, you were on a podcast, I think it was with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you said that the thing that terrified you most was rapid recursive self-improvement in AIs.
Yes.
And that you said, and it really struck with me, you said that we will just be the pet Labradors at the best.
Well,
then. Now you see,
Labradors are pretty happy creatures. That's my
but in
experience.
2023, you asked for a slowdown in AI because you were worried about it.
Well, I signed on to, as one of many, like 500 people. I was just, one of many signatories on that thing.
But I think even last year you said, I know, where was it, Ted Cruz's podcast, you said there was a 10 to 20% chance of killer robots wiping out humanity.
Yes.
So you sounded worried then. Now you seem very relaxed about it.
I still think there's risk associated with AI and robots. It's not zero. I guess I've come to my sort of philosophical conclusion is to look on the bright side. I can't see any way to really stop this incredible momentum of AI and robots. And at times I sort of think, well, perhaps, even if there was a stop button, we probably shouldn't press it because the most likely outcome is incredible abundance for all.
We checked all 3 receipts because they sound invented. They are not. March 2015, on Star Talk, with Neil deGrasse Tyson. We'll be like a pet Labrador, if we're lucky, on tape. March 2023, he signed the Future of Life letter, demanding a 6-month pause on anything beyond GPT-4. and 4 months later, he founded his own frontier lab. March 2025, on Ted Cruz's podcast, 10 to 20% odds that AI wipes us out. His number. So the man who wanted the pause now says, even if there was a stop button, we probably shouldn't press it. That is the most important sentence in this interview. Not because he's right, but because it tells you nobody driving this intends to break. Whatever you're building, plan for acceleration, not pause. Moment 3 is the one that will get clipped out of context everywhere, so let's do it properly. The subject is software engineering, huh? Your job maybe. He names a percentage and then he names the endgame. Chess players already know the word.
I mean, for software engineering, we already have a situation where AI is better than at least 90% of humans at writing software. 90% of professional software engineers at writing software. And I mean, it really is getting to the point where it'll be better than 99%, and then it'll get to the point where there's just no way to compete. It'll get to what I call Stockfish level. So Stockfish.
Okay,
So
yeah,
Stockfish is the chess program
Yeah.
that I mean, Stockfish is so good at chess that it will easily beat Magnus Carlsen or anyone at chess even running on a small computer. I suspect that you could probably run Stockfish on your phone and beat Magnus Carlsen. That's how good it is at chess. And that's how good AI will be at writing software.
And beyond software? Beyond
And that applies to everything.
everything.
Stockfish level. The chess engine on your phone that no grandmaster alive can beat. Not sometimes. Ever. That's his end state for AI writing software. Now the honest check. On coding contests, he's underselling it. At the @Coder World Finals in Tokyo this month, a reasoning model swept all 5 problems and beat every human finalist. Against contest programmers, AI is already past the 99 percentile. But better than 90% of professional software engineers at the actual job? No benchmark supports that. And the best controlled study we have found experienced engineers were 19% slower with AI on their own code bases. So here is the honest read. Writing code is going stockfish. Engineering, deciding what to build, verifying it works, owning it in production, is the part still hiring humans. That's not a consolation prize. That is the job description now. Moment 4 is why this interview matters on this channel. Remember who's talking? The man who co-founded OpenAI and now builds a competing model. Listen to who he says is winning and to how his own attempt to stop one monopoly accidentally created the current leader.
Which created OpenAI as essentially a counterweight to Google, because at the time they had more or less a monopoly on AI. And then Anthropic spun out of OpenAI. And if anything, it seems like what my actions have really accelerated AI. I wasn't really aiming to accelerate AI, but in creating OpenAI and then having Anthropic spin out of that, and now currently Anthropic's the leader in AI, that are very good. The new Kimi model.
Kimi K3, yeah, the one that came out last week, it was almost as good as Fable, right? So it's...
Well, I think realistically, Fable is still clearly the smartest model. I think anyone realistically would say that that's still the case. But the Kimi model is getting quite close to Fable. Now, Anthropic had Mythos, from which Fable is derived. I think they had that ready in February. So they've got sort of what they call, I'm not sure what they call it, but Mythos 2 or Fable 6 or something much better than what they had in February. They almost certainly have, not almost certainly, they certainly have right now. So, and I think they could release it at any time.
Let that sink in. Coming from the most competitive man alive. Anthropic is the leader in AI. And Fable, The model this channel builds with every single day is clearly the smartest model. We verified the scoreboard. On Menlo Ventures numbers, Anthropic holds about 32% of enterprise API spend to OpenAI's 25, and over half of the coding segment specifically. The threat he names is real too. Kimi K3, the open weights model from Beijing, scores 57.1 against Fable's 59.9 on the Independent Intelligence Index. A hair behind the frontier, downloadable by anyone. And his wildest aside, that Mythos was sitting finished in February, months before release, is his claim, not ours to confirm. But if it's true, whatever Anthropic is holding right now is a generation ahead of anything you can touch. The lead is real. It is also thinner than the vibes suggest. Quick pause. If this is useful, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Want to back what we build? Become a member on YouTube or a subscriber on Facebook. 3 moments left, including the bottleneck almost nobody prices in. Moment 5. Everyone asks who should regulate AI. Musk's answer is the competitors, and he sketches a real mechanism with a tempo that should raise your eyebrows.
Was that the most immediate thing that we could do is to have the leading AI companies at least just meet. We'll have some sort of call once every few weeks and just discuss any safety and security issues and that before a breakthrough, sort of a new frontier model is released, something that sort of is far more intelligent than anything that already exists, that there's an opportunity for the various competing AI companies to test that model for any harmful effects, and to be able to recommend pausing to address some of these security issues. I think that's sort of the easy, quick thing that we can do, and it can evolve to more than that over time. But that's that I think would be a smart move.
But why? Yeah, that's what people keep telling me. We have to get this some kind of system in the next 6 months because of the pace at which the models are improving.
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
So you think shorter than that?
Well, I mean, there's so many AI breakthrough announcements, sometimes multiple per day. I mean, how many were there last week?
A lot.
I lost track,
Yeah, a lot.
Be complacent. But at the end of the day, if we have to talk, we'll talk. I mean, set aside our personal differences for the good of the world type of thing.
Well,
Notice the design. Not a government agency reviewing models it can't understand. Rival labs get 1 to 2 weeks of early access and every incentive to flag each other's dangers, with government as the backstop. It's the movie ratings board applied to frontier AI. And when Zanny says a system is needed within 6 months, his answer is 6 months is a long time. That is the tempo the people at the frontier are assuming. Calibrate your own plans to it. Moment 6. Ask anyone what limits AI and they'll say chips. Musk says that's already wrong and drops an electricity number about China that we had to check twice.
And if you look at electricity production, you can say like AI is a function of whatever the limiting factor is, if it's chips or electricity. China has far more electricity than the United States. In fact, China has more electricity than the United States, Europe, and India combined already, and is heading to, and my guess is China gets to 4 times the electricity production of the US, which is roughly proportionate to the population. Being the leader in AI, really it's, for digital intelligence, it comes down to how much AI compute do you have, how many chips do you have, and how much power do you have, how much electricity do you have. So the constraint right now, I think, is actually slightly more on power and cooling than it is on AI chips, because the power demands of the AI chips are very, very high. We'll talk about water demands, but the water usage of AI is negligible, almost nothing. but the electrical demand is very high.
That's
Checked, and it holds, with one asterisk. On Ember's numbers, China used about 10,600 terawatt hours of electricity last year. The United States, the European Union, and India combined about 9,200. So the combined claim is true. The 4x line is a forecast. Today, China is at about 2.4 times the US. But the load bearing point survives the check. The constraint on intelligence is now energy. That reframes everything from data centers in space to why your token bill looks the way it does. Moment 7. If AI does every job better, what is left for people? His answer is a garden. And it's the most human he sounds in the entire 85 minutes.
And I've said many times, I think work is going to be optional. So, so I think maybe a good comparison would be gardening. Like, you don't have to garden. You don't like you don't have to grow vegetables in your garden. You can go to the store, and they're going to be pristine vegetables, or you could grow vegetables in your garden, and they will actually be less perfect. Your tomatoes are not going to be as plump and juicy as the ones at the store. They'll look a little artisanal. But if you go to a friend's house and they make dinner and it's with vegetables from their garden, it's a nice touch.
So that's what
this is what work is going to be like, and terrifying.
But if you were in the yeah,
I
exactly,
agree. Honestly, and if you ask me on any given day, I in fact, even intraday, I've gone from exhilaration to terror regarding AI.
And
So I want to be clear. I'm not
right
like
now?
I'm not sort of some, I'm not trying to be sort of candide here and just be some, oh, everything's wonderful, some Panglossian view of the world where everything's going to be great, no risk. I'm saying there is some risk.
Work becomes gardening. You won't have to, and you'll do it anyway. Because tomatoes from your own garden means something the stores cannot. Whether that lands as utopia or as grief probably depends on how much of your identity lives in your output. And bookmark the other clip. The man at the center of all this, swinging from exhilaration to terror inside a single day. If he's oscillating, you're allowed to be too. One more clip. His closing math.
AI is digital superintelligence. It's called the singularity, like a black hole, because you don't know what's going to happen after that. And it sort of sucks in everything. So I think really, in terms of the really big macro effects here, AI and robots will really dominate everything. So on a time scale that is less than 10 years.
Which probably
10 years to the singularity on his clock. And his clocks run fast. Ask Mars. But you don't need his timeline to act on his direction. Because every moment in this interview points the same way. Capability up, price of intelligence down, energy as the ceiling, and nobody breaking. Build like that's the weather. Real talk. 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. That is what keeps the lights on here. On YouTube, it's free and it tells the algorithm to send you more. Subscribe to support us. Everything in this video is in the Musk Brief, a free PDF with all 7 moments timestamped, every quote, and every fact check with its source, plus a 1-page builder checklist. Comment the word Musk and our assistant sends it over. Or grab it at hyperautomationlabs.co/free/Musk. If you are starting out with AI tools, the beginner guides are linked below. The complete Claude code guide, the Codex guide, the Cowork sales guide, and the architect prep kit. Step by step from zero. We're on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram as Hyper Automation Labs. Same name everywhere. The full interview is linked below too. It's worth your evening. And the Claude Code Creators Talk and the Jensen Huang breakdown are on screen now. See you in the next one.